Well, this comes to the surprise of nobody. The New York Mets and Buck Showalter have parted ways. Granted, it's technically a firing. The Mets did fire Buck Showalter because it was reported a little after Buck announced during his presser that he's going to be leaving the Mets. It was announced a little afterwards that, Buck Showalter really had no choice. He was either getting fired or he had the choice to step down, and he ended up stepping down, so he'll end up managing this game, and that will be all she wrote for Buck Showalter, and then I guess an inning on Monday here. But yeah, we're going to talk about it, why I'm not complaining in the slightest, and why I'm kind of a little happy. You never root for a guy to get fired at the end of the day, but one, he's managed long enough. He was probably going to retire anyway after next season, and he's still going to get paid for this upcoming season, so I don't feel too bad. But there's also just so many issues with Buck Showalter that occurred as the manager of this team. But we're going to talk about it. Before we do, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans. And turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next on the channel. But why does it make sense that the Mets fired Buck Showalter? I mean, it's pretty clear. The Mets were 74-86 at the time of recording. Probably going to be, I don't know. They'll probably lose a game or two more, or regardless, it's a losing season for the Mets. Granted, yes, the Mets won 101 games a year prior with 61 losses, but I don't know. I mean, you could credit Buck Showalter for some of that, sure, but to me, I cannot give too much credit when there were some mistakes that he was even making last year in that 101 win season. But the main thing for me that I take away with Buck Showalter and why I think the firing happened, one, David Stearns is going to want his own guy. Two, his own guy is probably going to be the front runner for the managerial job this upcoming offseason. We'll see how that goes. We'll talk about him in a few minutes. But the main thing, too, is that it feels like Buck Showalter had no command of that room. And we're seeing reports about the Mets having clubhouse issues, playing video games, being the least hardest working, playing pool during games, and all that, according to reports. Tommy Pham saying it. We're seeing all these issues, and Buck Showalter just never showed any sort of discipline with this team. And it just seemed like he was too laid back. And yes, this is kind of the comparable that I would give this is with the New York Rangers with Gerard Gallant, right? The Mets needed someone to be loosey-goosey in the clubhouse, but also at the same time has some sort of baseball knowledge, because the previous guys really didn't. I'll give Buck that. He has at least some track record of baseball knowledge. Not that it's a great one. I think he's an overrated manager. I said it when he got hired, and sure enough, I ended up being right. But they needed some loose guy in the clubhouse with all the drama that was happening in the years prior and all of that. They needed someone with a clean record, that is, because we know what's happened with the previous managers before. They need someone with a clean record that had some sort of baseball track record, and that would just be loose in the clubhouse for the guys. But then it felt like this past year was out of control, and it was way, way, way too loose in the clubhouse, and there just was never any sort of accountability with him. There was never any sort of discipline, like I mentioned, and it just felt like it was a problem. And it felt like that's part of why the Mets season spiraled out of control the way that it did, is because there was just zero accountability with Buck Showalter. And again, I never liked this track record. I never found it to be outstanding or anything like that. He really kind of just had some... his success was overblown. Didn't have a World Series or anything either, so it's like, I don't know. Granted, the guy that they're probably going to have as a front runner hasn't won a World Series, but I can tell you he's a winning manager. I can tell you that he's a far and away better manager than Buck Showalter, at least from my estimation. But we'll talk about that. With Buck Showalter, I wish him luck with whatever he does. I don't have any ill will towards him. I didn't find him to be, a bad person or anything, but just not disciplining the team enough, not holding them accountable enough, and just an overrated manager. I mean, there's really no sugarcoating it there. So let's get into the guy that I think is going to end up getting the job. I think it's going to be Craig Counsell. I think it's clear that he's the front runner. The question is going to be, is he willing to move away from Milwaukee? Because he does live in Milwaukee, and that's been well reported and documented. I don't know, but all I do know is that he's the only manager in the past 6 seasons, I think it was, full seasons, that is, not counting the 2020 bubble season. In the last 6 full 162 game seasons, there have been 2 teams to have winning records consistently, or have 86 wins or more consistently, that is, not winning seasons, 86 wins or more. The Milwaukee Brewers and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Those are 2 teams, unless that stat was wrong, because I heard that from somewhere. I forgot exactly where I heard that from, but assuming that is true, from where I did hear it, then yeah, I mean, look at the Milwaukee Brewers payroll, and he's still getting 91 win season this year, maybe 92 if they win the last game, who knows, but regardless, 90 plus wins. Year before, 86 wins, 95 wins in 2021, 89 wins in 2019, 96 wins in 2018, 86 in 2017, and hell, even with the rebuilding Milwaukee Brewers, 73 wins in 2016 and 2015, 61 wins isn't great, but still, I mean, regardless, he's a winning manager and he knows the game, and he, I feel like, is the perfect fit for this team in terms of a guy who's up to date with the game, that knows how to use his gut, but also a little bit of analytics too, and I just feel like he has a better understanding of the game of baseball than Buck Showalter in the year 2023 especially. So time will tell, but I think Craig Counsell is going to be the front runner. I think he should be the guy personally. But again, we'll see. His record in his entire career is 706 and 625 with a 530 winning rate, that is, or winning percentage, that is. So we'll see. We'll see. And I just feel like too, Buck just never was, like, last year we saw him get more angry with the amount the Mets were getting hit by pitches. This year he really didn't even show like any sort of frustration at all this year. I don't even know how many times he ended up getting ejected. He had 3 ejections this year. Craig Counsell had 3 also, but I don't know. I mean, with the way the Mets season went, I felt like there needed to be some sort of fire from their manager, and there just wasn't any of that. So granted, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the Brewers are a better team, but I credit a lot of that to Craig Counsell getting a lot out of the guys, even though managers probably have the least impact on the game out of anyone in or any like coaching job / manager job in any sport. Obviously, the manager has the least impact on the game, but still, there's something to be said about the fact that the Brewers, you look at them on paper, and it's like, they don't necessarily have the greatest roster, and then they end up still having 90-win seasons. And it's like, okay, something's going on there with Craig Counsell in that dugout. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you guys want to be the next manager? Are you sad that Buck's gone? Let me know all of it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you guys in the next one.